Good morning. So basically, what we'll actually be covering in this particular session is we'll be actually building off this wallet page. It's actually animal app landing page. It was actually built by them. So I just got their design from the official page, right? So this is what we'll be building, and when we're done, we're going to have an end product, similar to this, right? So I'm going to actually give you guys a walkthrough on the different sections we'll be building, and then we can jump straight into the code. All right, so we have the first section. We scroll down, then we'll see the supporting apps section. Then we basically see the overview page, right? And then when you scroll down a bit, we see the all feature section, and then we have the testimonial section. And also, when you scroll down, we have like questions. Let's talk more like an FAQ kind of thing, or contact us page. And finally, we have the footer. So I'm going to take it right up so you guys see exactly what we'll be building in this particular tutorial. So basically, what we're actually building this off of is basically we're actually using a Nest 14, TypeScript, Shadcn, and then Tailwind, right? So these are the combination of technologies we'll be using for this particular lesson. So here I've actually created a starter branch that basically contains what you'll be needing here in this particular tutorial. So for you to be able to like bootstrap the code, all you have to do is to click on the code and then click on this HTTPS part, right? To make sure you have the clonable link. So you can just copy that. So you go to anywhere you feel like you want to create your project on. So you right click on there, and depending on your setup, right, you can just like open up your terminal there. So what I'm going to do here now, I'm just going to do git. All right, we are done with the download. So basically what you want to do now is to just run yarn dev if you want. But owing to the fact that I said you shouldn't be on the main branch, but you should just be on the startup branch. So main branch will contain the finished code, but then we just want to basically have, the starter branch. So I will just refresh this, go to the SaaS folder we just created, open it in my VS Code editor. And so basically you will going to actually, see project there. So I'm going to wait a bit for it to basically boot up. So it's still loading. So once it's boot up successfully, then we can basically like change our branch. So very good. You can click on here and just change it to the starter branch. Right? Good. So we are on the starter branch, as you can see here. So we are on here. You can see right here, we're on the starter branch. Nice, right? Okay, good. All right. So basically, since we're already on the starter branch, you can come back to your editor, just do ls or whatever. You see, we're now on the starter branch. You can just use dev. So bootstrap your server in dev. So this is going to run our server, and once it's done running, we want to actually put it up and see what we have there. Okay, so we have that. You can click on there. This is going to open it in your terminal. Okay, so I'm going to close a lot of other stuff. Close this, and then close this. All right, so this is what we need here and here. So wait for it to load. Well, it takes a while for Next.js to basically process load on the first render. But after this, I'll show you, it's going to be way faster. So still waiting, still trying to obviously compile, right? So wait for it to finish. Okay, wonderful. So now we're actually greeted with this particular page, right? Wonderful. So we don't need a bunch of what we have here. So wait for us to be able to edit that. We can just come in here and go to layout, and this is what we have. Then go to page. This is the page we basically have. So we're going to remove everything we have here because we'll not be needing them. So we could just, we have the main, we have the let's just call it div hello world, right? So this is going to like remove a bunch of what we basically have. Remove that. So what we want to do is to refresh, and then good, we're greeted with this particular hello world. Great. So we basically have a proper setup now. So what we want to proceed to doing at this stage is to have an overview of the project structure. Let's see what it does and what it basically contains, right? So for every project, one thing that always stands out is the colors, right? This is my first go-to handle any UI whatsoever, no matter how complex design is. First of all, I focus on the colors, right? So then we want to, to be able to pinpoint what what the colors are, what is our primary color, what's our secondary color, what's our tertiary color, and so on, right? So any color that is used the most is officially your primary color. It's very easy to spot. So we can actually see from here, from this example now, that this actually seems to be our primary color. So you can just overwrite. Let's see what we have there. This is the color we want, right? So this would be our secondary color. It seems that we actually quite use like in the same pattern, right? So yeah, it's something we can use, right? So any color like feel like is used the most is officially the brand color, right? So yeah, so you can actually see here we basically have this. So we're going to actually grab this as our primary color and this as our secondary color because this actually appeared most. You can see we have it here, we have it here, we have it here in our big card. We have it as part of the image here, and also we have it right here. So this actually qualifies it as our indigenous primary color. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to open up the starter application, and we want to set up a couple of things, right? We want to set up a couple of things. So under our theme here, all right, so we want to actually make sure we're doing the right thing, right? So let's say we need our colors. Yeah, so basically we need to set this up. So we basically have to say, oh, what's the primary color? Primary. So we already know this is a primary color. We can easily just grab it from Figma, right? So we have secondary color as well. Secondary. So what's a secondary color? It's very easy to spot. It's the one very close to to the primary based on the amount of usage. Right, so and then we have a background, right? So I think I can just call that the background color, right? So the color is like a grayish, right? It's actually grayish, but not that grayish, It's just a light dark, I think. So that's it. So I will just copy it and paste it like that. So now we have a couple of things. We're not going to rush this tutorial. The idea is to make sure that everyone, even the newbies, basically like have an idea of how how to basically tackle a design from Figma and just transform it into code, real life functional code. All right, so we basically have our colors now. What are colors? Are we missing any other colors? I don't think so. We have white. White is very simple. We don't need to put that here, right? So there we go. The only two assets that are really interactive is the this particular overview image, and then when you scroll down, this wallet. So they are like animated, so they are GIFs. So basically, when you go to your your actual code, you can actually see them there. I've added them to the images folder, right? So we have the wallet, and then we have the the overview screen, right? So yeah, that's good. That's good. We basically have them. They are GIFs, so we can actually render these on the UI when the time comes. So that's for the assets. So basically, I have to include other things as well. That's this one. So this asset is missing. So let's look for a way to, to bring it into the picture. So what you're going to do real quick is to go to, I think it's, yeah. So make it highlighted, and then you want to make sure that you are in dev mode, right? So I'm going to like refresh this real quick. Seems scattered for some weird reason. So I'm going to refresh that and have it selected again. Okay, good. So you have it selected, and then you go to your preview. It's well previewing, so you want to export it as PNG, which is okay. And then you just want to click on the export image. So this is it. So what we're going to call this, we can call this wallet overview per se. We already have an overview. Yeah, we can just call this wallet or app overview. App overview. Great. So we already have this wallet, and what we're going to do if we don't have any other assets, I think, right? So we basically do. So we have other assets as well. So we're just going to import them and then, reuse them. So the other side we want to focus on is this Litio wallet. So you can actually click on that. You can export it as an SVG, doesn't really matter. So export or as a PNG, your choice. Your PNG is fine, it works best. So you can just export this as a PNG, and then what are we going to call this? We're going to call this a card icon. Card icon. So we'll go here, and then we have to export this as well. So meanwhile, whenever you highlight a design like this, you want to just like make sure you are seeing it on this preview plane. So if you export this, you wouldn't have gotten what you wanted, right? Because it's not really coming up well, right? So now we can say that we are exporting the right thing. We have $sign inside of those circles, and then you can just export. So what we're going to actually call this the dollar icon, right? Or coin icon, anyone that works. Coin icon, it's okay. So coin icon. So and then we basically have to scroll to the right, and then you have a section here. So this section technically is for wallet. So we have it selected. You can scroll down, go to your export pane, and good. We can basically say it. So you can just export that, and yeah, there we go. You can just rename it. What we're going to call this? We can call this a pause icon. That's okay. So pause icon, the PNG, good. So now I think that is all the assets we need. Then okay, we have this Litio guy here. So we have to export this Litio guy as well. So let's make sure it's coming up correctly. So it's not coming up correctly. Let's make sure we're doing the right thing. Right, so it's mass group, user field, so you can have that. So we have an image. It's like an image inside of some weird circle, right? So it's pretty much easy, right? So this is it. This is basically it. So it still has some sorts of highlights around there. So we'll figure it out later on. So we can actually basically like export these or use the actual image. It's more of an avatar, a user avatar. You don't want to export it like this, but all I need is the actual user image basically. So this guy, you can go there and say mass group, the image, right? So this is the guy's image. Good. The image is coming right up, and then we want to export it. Very good. So we can basically have it. So here we can just say, small guy. Hold on. That sounds somehow. So we'll call it the boy, right? So that's the thing. All right. So basically, we have all the images we need for our design, and then we can start kicking. Right? We can start kicking. Oh, we're missing some. All right. So we need the logos of each of these companies that do use our product, right? That do use our product. So what we're going to do is that we're going to like make a copy of the entire thing, right? So let's see if they're actually providing a very nice way to have that copy. So normally, if you're not able to access, what's it called? If you're not able to access something like this, what I normally recommend is that you just duplicate the draft. So duplicate it. So you have more like a copy, of your own, right? I think I'm already on the duplicate version, which is copy, so which is okay. So if you don't have this copy, whatever there, you just have to do that. So you can right click on it. So let's make sure that we're doing the right thing. These are the logos. All right. So these are the logo section. So it's more like they don't actually separate the logos. They just did it as an image. So you can actually see from the preview pane, we have the entire logo. So you can just export it, right? So we can come here and we can say logo group, right? Say logo group. So basically we have a lot. Let's remove the things that are not important here. So you can delete those are not important. So basically have all of this. We have the wallet, we have the overview, we have the card icon, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to copy the entire thing, and I'm going to copy that and put them in our images folder, right? So and drag them right in here, right? So we already have, just replace. Okay, good. So you can actually see now we have all of our images. These are all of our assets, which is okay. Right, so we have the coin icon, we have the image, the logo group, we have the overview GIF, we have the pause icon, and then we have the wallet GIF. Wonderful, fantastic, right? So you can just basically close off all of this. And all right, we already have a color setup. Then one other thing that we need to worry about is, shadows, border radius, and all those little details. We pay attention to them, so we basically have a pixel perfect kind of design, right? So now what we want to do is to be able to work on the border radius. So normally in every project, I prefer to use rem compared to normally using pixels, right? So I just use rem. So in your in your Figma, you want to actually change this to rem. If it was in pixel, make sure it's in rem, so that you basically have all the dimensions in rem, so which is a good thing. So you can come here. What I want to grab here is the border radius. The border radius here is like 0.93, good, 9375. That would be our normal border radius. So you can come here in our Tailwind config. You want to set that up. Border radius. So you can call this normal. So paste it in there. So normal border radius is going to be this, right? Let's make sure this is like a big one. Okay, so that's on an image, so it's okay. So let's check this one out. It's still the same with the one on the top, which is a good thing. What about okay, good. We don't have much. Okay, here, wonderful. So the border radius we still have is still okay. Let's highlight it. Border radius, yes, good. This will be our big border radius. So you can grab it very easily. All right, so you can actually put it here. You can call it big depending on the way you feel. So big border radius, or large. Let's use the word large. So large, you can actually like place it in there, right? Good thing. All right, so once we basically have that, let's see what else we're lacking. Okay, we're good, right? So this input has its own border radius, and the border radius is basically the same as the first one, as the normal. So it's pretty much decent. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to set up our font. So if you notice, when you hover over every every text, it basically has its own line height. This is a line height for for big text. So you can actually configure this as well. So you can come in here and say, so line height. So we can just say large. So you paste it in there, which is 5.625 rem. So for normal text, normal text like all of this and all of this is almost very much the same. So we're going to actually be using 2 rem. So let's make sure that everything is consistent. So some is like 2.5, right? So we just have to find a common ground. So you go here, and this one obviously is 2 rem. So we can actually do large, medium. So we have to do medium, that. And so we can just do normal. Let's call this normal. And then we have the medium part. So this medium part obviously is going to be the 2.5, right? So 2.5 rem. That basically covers all of our line heights. Great. So which other part do we want to consider? I don't see any other part. Yes, we basically have to make sure that our font is correct as possible. So we can say that we are using Poppins. So we need to go to our Next.js application and set that up. So you go to your app, go to your page, go to your layout, and then you want to actually set up your font. It's already set for you if you're using the starter branch. So you can basically, most of the font we're using in this particular application is of width 400 and 600. So you can check this out. This is 600, right? So you can check this out. This is 400, which is normal, right? Okay, so you can check this out as well, which is very much normal, right? So it's very much 600, right? So great. So one of the color we forgot to take note of is the grayish color. So this color is very common. So we have to like put it in our configuration, gray. So what do we have there with the colors? We want to, okay, we're not getting it right. So you can come in here, just make sure you highlight it. And for some weird reason, it's not coming up as expected. Oh, it's white. It just reduced the opacity of the white. So if you're actually faced with issues like this, what I normally recommend you do is to, since you want to reuse the component like all the time, you already know it's a white color, just reduce your opacity with Tailwind. So you don't have to do any form of like, custom settings, all of that. Or you can easily just go here. I have a site called X to RGBA, right? So you can actually go to this site. So you can open it up, and what we basically have, we want to say #FFF, right? So this will give us the RGBA value. So you can copy that and just do something like RGBA to X, right? So you can come here, paste it in here, right? So one thing we already know that is common now is that it's using 0.4 as your opacity, but we're definitely using the white color. So you can come in here, come in here and make sure that what you basically have here, where were we? Yeah, what you basically have here is 0.4. So it's giving us the right, X code. So you can copy this and go to your configuration. And then you want to, one thing I want to do is to increase the font of this, so that you guys can actually see it better. Okay, so what we're going to do real quick is to go to our Tailwind config and have that set up. So that color is, you can just say light color or gray color. You can put it there, not 0.4 of course, I could type. You're just going to copy this, and so let me quickly close that up, not relevant. Okay, so we want to paste the color right there. So now we are almost there. We're almost there. So basically, we're done with the entire color setup. We have our black color, which is not completely black, right? So it seems to have its own like special color. So we can include that as well, so it will not be a problem later on. So you can copy that, and so you could just like, it's not really black, but what it is actually dark. Good. So we have a primary color, right? So we have a secondary, we have a background color, we have the gray, then we have the dark color. Wonderful. So if you've actually gotten to this stage, oh my God, you've actually done the most work. So what we basically have to do now is to start building each component bit by bit, right? So it's very simple. All right, so what we're gonna do is to actually think about the project structure, right? So the project structure is always very simple. It's like, what do you want to build? So we can actually close this up here, source, app. Then you can actually, go to like create a component. So you can come here, create a folder, and we'll just call this components, right? So create a folder component, and then we want to like worry about all the different kind of components we'll be needing, right? So now what we basically have here, we have the navbar, right? So you can just create a new file and say navbar.css, right? So basically RFCE, so basically have a default export. So you basically have like a navbar there. So sorry, we have functional component export. This is what I wanted, right? So this is a navbar. Good. So what other component do we need? Then we need this component, this part, right? So what do we call this part? Depends on you, right? It's pretty much very straightforward. So you can call the hero page, or the hero section. So what I normally do here is I try to separate my component. So ideally, any component you feel like you're reusing throughout the page, you can put it in a common folder, right? So anyone that basically has to be a section, you can put it in the sections folder. Sections, if I could spell sections, right? So section now is, we can actually have a new file there, and it's called the hero section, right? Hero section.tsx. Good. So we have functional component export. Good. We basically have the component, right? So what other section do we need? We have the logo group section. Create new file, call this the logo group section.csx. Right, so this is the logo group section. We have functional component export, and that's how we do it. And then we basically have the other section. This is like the wallet overview section, so it's a different component of its own. So though it's an image, but it's completely fine, to have it as a separate section. So what we're going to have here is that we can actually call it wallet over, if I could spell for your section.csx. Right, so we have functional component export. Grade 1, great. So what do we have here? This is actually the feature section, right? So come here and create a new file, say the feature section.csx. We have, alright, so basically we have functional component export. So that's it, that's a feature section. And then what else do we have? We have the testimonial section. Alright, so you're gonna copy this, create a new file, and that's called a testimonial section, right? .csx. So this is a very good section we have, and yeah, which is not bad. Alright, we have the testimonial section, and then we have this other section, questions section. Let's talk. Okay, you can just call this let's talk section. So we have the let's talk section, we have functional component export, and oh, I missed it. Click it, good. So we basically have this now, and then lastly we have the photo section. Section.tsx. We have functional component export. Great. So basically we have all of our sections now, and one thing we want to do is to be able to like align it within the page. Right, so we're going to start from the very beginning and just like work our way down. So yeah, that's basically it. So we go to our app. It's just a one-page kind of application, so we can actually go to our app. Okay, go to our app, and what we're looking for here is a couple of things. We're looking for page.csx, and one thing that you want to do here, let me enlarge it a little bit, is to put this into the separate section. So you can just do section, or don't worry, you can just place the components the way they are. So what we're going to have, we have a navbar component. So we have that placed in there. What other component do we have? We have the hero section. All right, so what else do we have? Logo group section, which is right here. Logo group section, yeah. So what else do we have? We have the, I think, wallet overview section here. Wallet overview section. Right, so after that we have the feature section. So the feature section. Right, so after the feature section we have the testimonials section. Testimonial section, grade 1. And I think finally, oh no, not finally, we have the let's talk section. Let's talk section, and then finally we have the photo section. So these are all the components we'll be needing. So let's check out here. We can actually see that everything is coming in as expected, which is wonderful. So when you have this, I'm going to close off the other tab to the right. Then we are good to start working on the design. So if you got into this stage, congratulations once more. Now we're actually into building the actual, application. So let's work on the first thing we basically have here. By default, we already know that the background it's very much straightforward. So you can actually style it globally. You come here, class name, bg background. So this is going to actually use the background we've set within our Tailwind config right here. So you're going to do, anytime you do text background or color, we set into background or BG background, it's going to actually take this style. So that's what we just achieved right now. So if you check our application, we already have this, right? Wonderful. So this is one great thing, and we notice that most of the text, has to be white or kind of grayish, right? So this one basically has a white kind of color. Right, so this is white, but this is a little bit grayish. We've taken note of all of this, which is great. All right, so let's build the navbar. Okay, so basically have this now, right? So so basically we want to actually go to our navbar, and want to just do this kind of things. And what we want to do now is navbar itself is a section or an header. So it just depends on how you are handling it. So you have to use proper semantics. So this is definitely like an header, right? So we don't want to basically have any issues, but that's completely fine. So this is our header tag, and this header tag can have lots of divs within it. Doesn't really matter, right? So Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So what we basically have here is we can actually have a p tag, which is wallet, which is like the logo, and then we basically have two other stuffs, which is the sign up, and then we have a button. So yeah, it becomes really interesting. Why we're using Shadcn is to be able to have a non-component library per se. So we're going to actually quickly go to the Shadcn documentation and be able to like grab a button right there. So we've already installed it. So if you've actually used the starter, branch, so we already have all of it installed. So basically, you just have to go to, to your button component button. There you go. You list your button. Okay, good. Go to the code and yeah, good. You can just use this, right? So what I normally do, I try to actually style the buttons to mimic the actual color of our design. So, but since what we basically have here doesn't really matter much, it's pretty much easy. You can just create your own button and reuse it. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing. So we can actually come here, CSS, right? So you can just have this right there. Just copy it and yeah, paste it right here. This is our main button. So in this case, it's going to be our main button. You can see that it's actually throwing an error because first off, we don't really have this button installed, so we'll have to install it manually. So you can click on the CLI and just use npm. We're using npm here for this lesson. So I'm just going to quickly duplicate this route. You don't have to do this, it's just completely fine. So you just want to do npm install. Oh, you don't obviously need npm to do that. So you've already copied it, just paste it there and click on enter. So this is going to actually download the button component into the UI directory, right? So this is what we want to observe. So since it's still basically downloading it, we have to wait until it's complete. And if it's complete, we're going to have a new folder called UI, and then we're going to see the button in there. Okay, so come here, source, library, component. You can see we already have UI coming through, right? So we have the UI and then our button is there. So we'll wait for it to basically just download and then we'll continue. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right, so basically have our component coming in and you can see that the error is gone, which is wonderful, very superb. So basically, I think ideally when you check your, when you refresh, you're going to create a very, very highly reusable component for our buttons. So it's basically very simple. So it's taking in some props that we might need. So you can actually have a primary variant and then we can have a secondary variant. And so by default, it's going to default to primary, right? As you can see here. So, and then we basically have every other thing you might need, right? So what the text does is the actual text of the button. So most of these properties are optional, right? So the form basically have to deal with, if, for example, you have a form setup, so you just want to make sure that, the button is part of the, part of the form. So basically have is loading, right? If it's loading, you might not be needing this in this particular tutorial, but this is how you build a very, very highly reusable, component, button component. So you need to assign a display name and make sure that everything is as expected. So we can actually disable it by passing disable prop. You can set a full width to it. So by default, it's a full width. So if, for example, you feel like adding your custom width, as we're doing a bit, you can add it. So data loading text. Data loading text is, for example, you want to make an API call, which is not what we're doing in this particular lesson. You can actually, put it here. So the data text is, if your API is loading, right? So the data text is something that will come up. Like normally you see, please wait alongside this loading spinner, right? You can put any text here depending on what you want. So ideally, you should basically set a data loading test, and then the variant, whether primary or secondary, you can actually put these for your custom classes. You can see what we are doing here. We are just like appending all the classes here, so we can be able to use them as we want. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So you can go back to our navbar. So I've set this up. So basically I have a width of 10, not 10 rem. So let's get the actual width here. So the width here is actually 10.9 exactly. So you can copy that and place it right here. Good. So let's see what we have on the design. You can see that it's coming up quite cool. Wonderful, wonderful. The only thing not great now is actually the text. The text size of what we have inside, right? So let's hover over here. We know that it's actually of a different color, which is very weird. So, but it's fine. So you can just come here and say, let's place that color there. It doesn't really matter. This is just using custom Tailwind. Okay, so let's make sure it's coming in correctly. Okay, yeah, it doesn't have to come. It's under classes. So, and then we want to make sure that the font size, which is text, is actually 1.125 rem. So let's check that out. Good. Is it bold? No, it's just a normal font. It's completely fine. So you can actually see that we're doing the right thing. The other thing not done well is the border radius. The border radius here is definitely border radius normal, which is this. So all you want to do is to come in here and just do border radius normal. But what I normally do, in case you want to be very, you can do border radius. Oh, it's actually rounded normal. That's what I needed. So you can copy that and just paste it here. It doesn't really matter. So you can remove it from here. So I did it just to have the typing for it. So we have border normal. So you can actually see that our border is coming in correctly. And then the height of the button. So the height seems to be quite much, right? So the height here is, I think, 3.125 rem, right? So let's make sure that our reusable component basically like have that height. So it doesn't really matter what we're using. So what do we have there is, okay, so you can scroll down and look for anything that has to do with height. So we'll look for anything that has to do with height. I think this is this for the icon. I mean the height for the entire package size height, I think. Size height. So yeah. So basically this is what we have. So for normal, if the size is basically normal, we have 3 rem. In our own case, it's actually 3.125 rem. So you can actually adjust that 3.125 rem. So we can actually we can go to our button, make sure that we specify the size as normal, right? So that should actually give us good looking button. So we'll basically be able to match this button to our taste, which is wonderful, right? Okay, good. So we're almost done with this. So we just have to style it properly and make sure it's working as expected. All right, so what else do we have? We need to set up the wallet itself. So I'm going to over that. So go to your what's it called? Go to your editor, right pane, and then you see font size 600. So let's just make those adjustments. So you have a class. Then we have text is definitely white, right? So text white. What do we have there? It says font bold or whatever. But since to be safe, already have it, to be 600. So you over it, make sure what you're doing is correct. So font width 600, text. Yeah, text white is not coming up. That is so strange. All right, so text white. So don't worry about it. I can just go to Tailwind config and say that as part of the colors. So text white is just going to be this, right? Isn't it? Over it. Good. So we have a wallet. Now let's close off other stuff. Distractions is too much. And yeah, good. What's the font? The font size is like 1 rem. So text, so 1.5 rem, I think. Right. So and then we basically have to, worry about the sign up, right? So for all the sign up is basically very simple. So you can copy this entire same thing and paste it right here. We already know that it's not going to be bold. Oh no. Copy the entire class up and paste it right here. So we already know that a couple of things will change here. Is it the same? This is actually 1.125, which is not bad. So we just have to place that in there and make sure that the font is the default font, which is font 400 in width, and then we have a sign up. So let's take a look at what we have. Wonderful, it's looking good already. So we just basically have to now align this properly. So first of all, let's check the gap between here and here. When you override, you can see from your from Figma, we already have the gap is 1.86 rem in gap. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna use flex to undo that. So you can just do cross, you can do flex, you can do gap. You're pasting the same thing there. So if I remember correctly, it's actually 1.86. So 1.86 rem. So that's wonderful, right? So basically I have to align the flex justify between, right? So you can do full width as well. This is what we have, right? Looking great. So basically have to make sure that this sign up is aligned correctly with the login button. So the way we do that is very much simple as well. So you want to do items center. Good. Basically have that, right? Great. So we can always, when you design it like this, you have to always, take note for mobile as well. So in your mobile, what we just have, we only have the wallet. So we don't really have any other like sign up or login, which is definitely a bad UX. But they just have like get started, no login. But it's fine. We're following the design. So what we're going to do now is I want to hide this section on a very small screen. So how do we go about that? You can say hidden, okay? But if it's a medium device, you want to show flex. So this is the way you can actually achieve that. So this is it. So it's actually hidden by default on smaller screen, but from on medium screen upwards, medium, large, extra large is going to display. So this is it. So you can actually go to small screen. You can see that it's no longer there, right? It's no longer there. But on medium devices, you can actually see it. Wonderful. Okay, so what other thing do we have, right? So now don't worry about the spacing. The only spacing you need to worry about is the spacing at the top. So the distance between here and what we have on the top is 1.56 rem. So you can actually come here and make sure margin top 1.56 rem. So now you don't want to do this here because this is just a component, right? So you can actually do this at the top level. It's always advisable you do this at the top level so that if something's going wrong, you can easily like identify it. So we basically you can actually wrap this into, well, you know that this is a section or header, any way you want to call it. So yeah, you can actually do that. So this is a section, right? So and then we can basically like have our class name empty, and what we're going to put in there 1.56. So that's for the margin. So you're not going to use margin there, but actually you're using padding. So it's going to be padding top. Fantastic, right? So let's see the spacing between the left and the right across board, right? So ideally there are lots of spaces, but what we're going to do is to be able to match what we have on the wallet with what we have on the footer, which is quite understandable, right? So what we're going to do here is quite the same, right? So each of these other sections, we can actually put them in divs, right? Like hero section and every other section except the footer section because of the spacing here left and right for the sections, right? So and lastly, we have the footer section. So we're more concerned about this and this, right? So what we're going to do is to space them. So the space between here and here is 3.44 rem. So you can easily just grab that and give it. So we can actually say px. By px you mean padding left and padding right. You want to make sure you add whatever you basically have in here. So that is like 3.44 rem. 3.44 rem, which is okay. Okay, so you can actually see we added that space correctly, which is not bad. All right, so we basically have that all set up, and then we're good. That's all about the navigation, right? So you can actually close this up. So you can actually make it on a small device, large device, small device, large device. Good work, good work. Okay, so let's do the fancy part, which is the hero page. So the hero section. Okay, so let's go to, we're done here. When you're done creating any component, what I normally recommend is you go through it, make sure that they're not unused, import, whatever, so you can just like clean it up on the go, so you won't have lots of littered components. Okay, so fantastic. All right, so what's the next one? We want to worry about the hero section, right? So this hero section is something we want to, worry about now. And click on the hero section, and yeah, we have this. So now, this is definitely a section, right? Section of its own. And now we basically have the left and the right. So like we always do, flex, is wonderful. So they create a div, for the two sides. So the first div for the first side, for the left side, and this last div for the right side. So for the left side, we basically have a big paragraph text, that contains this. So we could just like copy it and paste it right there. Oh my God, copy is not working. So copy it again, Control C, and paste it, Control V. Okay, wonderful. So we basically have the paragraph, and then we're gonna actually have another paragraph. You can actually call this header. It doesn't really matter what you use. It's just like a paragraph or whatever. So the P, you can actually paste this in there. That's the other sub paragraph, right? And then we have the get started button. So what we can do is, so we already have a very similar button. You can just grab this from the navbar, and let's take this to in here, right? So we can import it swiftly, and then what do we have? We just have to use get started. All right, so get started. So what color does it have? Okay, so you can see that it's much more of the secondary color variant. Secondary. So let's see what we have so far. Fantastic. With less effort, we already have, the representation of what we actually needed, right? So we don't need to even worry too much. We already know what we want. So in here, this is the text, a very large text, font size and all. So what we're going to be doing is just take a look at your, let's close every other, pin this, take a look at the configuration, pin this as well, just if it's needed. And you can actually notice that what we are doing here is that for a very large, line height, the line height here is very large, so it has a very large line height. So you can copy that, and let's copy it there. So you can just do class line height. Okay, so I think it's actually leading. Let's say when stuff, it's actually leading large. So this actually give us the line height we specified, right? So very good. So we already know that it's actually text white. And one thing that's missing now is actually the actual font size. So since we're not really setting like font sizes, it's okay to just use what you basically have on the design. So you can basically have this. So you can copy that 3.75, it's really decent. Okay, so text, then you paste that in there, right? So we already know we're going to be having large text. Very good. So we need to make sure that it's actually bold. So font 600. So this will give us a better, very thick kind of something, right? So you're not actually looking at it in a very similar way, because what we basically have here, there's actually a break in the sentence. So what I normally recommend is, since there's always a break, it's just left for you to put that break here, or you separate it. It's always very the same. So you fill that particular break, and then you fill the same line height. So you can see what we have here: SaaS landing, then page template. Fantastic. So let's go straight to the other design. This is actually grayish color. So what we're going to do is I asked it font size of 1.125. It's very common, right? So if it's something very common, yeah, we can just put it as our font size. So we just copy this, go to your Tailwind config, and just put your text. This is always something very common. So let's go common there. Then text, text color, font size. I think font size, wonderful. Font size normal. So normal, and let's say large. So large is basically what I just copied, right? So I think this one is large. That's like 3.7 whatever RAM. So let's place that there. And what else? So this is actually this is 1.12125. We already have that. Which other one? This header. Yeah, good. 1.125 as well. Good. Okay, wonderful. So what we're going to do, we're going to modify this in a bit. And let's just use what we have here. So font normal, font large for the navbar. Sorry, for the header here. So text, instead of doing text, you can just do text large. So you can override it, then you see the flow. Very good. So text normal, text white, text normal. Okay, so we want to worry about the color, right? So and then text. So text. So the color we basically have, it's gray, if I remember correctly. So that would be our grayish color. So it's actually coming out, the same way as expected, and that is very, very decent. So we want to worry about the gap, primarily between this and this. I don't think there's much gap here, maybe 2.5 RAM, compared to what we have. Probably you can just eyeball it and add a couple of, margin top to it, margin top 4, right? So let's do that. That's pretty decent. So the gap between here is very determined. Here is like 4.5. So 4.5 RAM. So you could just do margin bottom 4.5 RAM. Okay, so we have a much more decent flow. All right, very good. We're doing great. So what we want to worry about is this GIF on the right hand side. So let's do that real quick, right? So we want to add a GIF. So we can just basically have like an image. You actually grab your image from, next image and do all those stuff. But ideally, I always don't want to use that image for some weird reasons. I tend to use the image component for, dynamic images. But for static images, I feel it's always better to use the indigenous HTML5 image tag. Okay, all right. So source. So we already remember that we already have our image in the images directory. So you want to do /images, then / what do we have? What's the name of that? App overview, right? Overview.png. So let's see if we have our. Oh my god, this is not what we need. This is the first one. Yeah, so let's just take a look at the images so we have a proper, understanding of the one that we needed. Oh, overview is actually the overview, not the other way around. Okay, so just update this to the overview. Okay, so overview.gif, I think. Okay, so you can actually see our GIF is coming right through. And yeah, this is very fantastic. So what we want to do at this particular stage is to, to align them properly. We already know that we have the left-hand side, we have the right-hand side. We can actually, put a flex here. Flex, justify between, then you can actually put in a reasonable gap. It doesn't really matter. We'll figure out the gap later on. I can see from the way it's actually aligned, it's very much not completely at the center, but it's the left hand side and the right hand side are the items. The alignment is basically vertical. It's oh, this is actually at the middle of it all. So what I'm saying is basically if we go in here, what you're going to be having is like do item center, item center. So oh sorry, let me quickly close this up. It's coming up for some weird reason. So if it's done loading, I'll just like close it up quickly. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, so this is something that we wanted, right? So this is the way it should be. And one of the things that I want to worry about here is the rounded figure. So the roundings there is not really shown because it's more of a image rounding. So we can actually eyeball it and achieve what we basically have there, right? So we can just do class name rounded number. Okay, you can see basically have the rounded number right there. Okay, not bad. So now one other thing we need to basically worry about is in the max width was actually given here. So we can actually, play with the max width, right? So it won't be too big. Okay, so you can just do let's try this first. Okay, so paste that in there. Okay, that looks perfect. That looks perfect, right? So you can basically have that particular, max width and play around with it, right? So I'm using a very large PC. That's why you basically see it this way. Yeah, that's very fantastic. And what I want to achieve now is to give the spacing at the top. So the spacing has to be properly maintained. So you can come here and just say, oh, this number between here and here is like 4.81, but we have to pump it up a bit, like 4.82 because of the padding after the login button, basically. So 4.81, so you could just do 5 rem. So this is actually done at the top level most times. So you can come here and yeah, so you can just like wrap it in whatever you want. Or in order not to, it's not something like you want to reuse all the time. You can just add it here. So margin top, you just do 5 rem, right? So basically, what you're going to be having in this particular case is a very well structured design, right? So we basically have the hero section well laid out, source landing page template as expected. Okay, so in between, so everything in this section has to be properly gapped. So that is the pages, and then we're going to basically have all of this. So MX8. So let's try that out first. MX8. Oh, it's okay. It's coming well. So we have to make sure that it's exactly the same, right? So MX8. So MX12. Yeah. So basically, this will actually happen for for medium devices. So for low devices, it might not really like come up. So it's completely fine. Okay, so that's it. And then we basically have a proper alignment now. So we'll scroll here. So we don't want to actually remove this on a smaller screen. So go to hero section. We don't need this section at all. So we have hidden on a smaller device and the black, I think. Alright, so small device. See that? Go there, we have it. So on a similar screen, let's say the gap still. The gap now is still line height is still like 3.75 rem. So for a large gap, so which is okay, we already have this now, 3.75, well, which is already large. Okay, it's fine. You see the same line height. The only thing that we need to worry about on a small screen is the let's see, is a gap, right? So there are lots small spacing. So SaaS landing page template, SaaS landing page template. So let's make sure we are having that SaaS landing page template, and you can notice that it's actually like aligned at the center. So that's something we want to achieve real quick. Now go in there and go to your hero section. Okay, so we just do text center. So text center is going to SaaS landing page template. So the text here is actually 2.5 rem, so which is okay. So you could just easily like add that to so leading large is okay, text large. So do we have like text 2.5 rem? Yes. So yeah, okay, let's just add it. So large, so large medium. So medium is basically like 2.5, which is not bad. Okay, all right. Okay, so that is it. So we can basically pick this up and put it right here. So on medium is going to be large, but on a much more smaller screen is going to take the medium shape. Okay, so let's have that. Good, good, good. All right, so let's go there. Make sure everything's coming right up. So yeah, so the leading. Okay, so you can just do medium. So leading normal is okay. Okay, so leading normal, leading medium. Okay, not bad, not bad. All right, so one of the things we need to correct real quick has to do with the text center here. So we don't really need it to, to behave like that. So this is only for small screens. So on the last screen, we just want to do text left, of course, as it already is. So good. So you can come in here and see the gapping. So it seems like the gap for some weird reason on mobile, the line height seems to be much, but it's still the same in the design. But when you do that in the actual implementation, it might be a little bit problematic, right? So we want to probably reduce it a bit. So this leading large, let's say 3 point something. Okay. Oh, I see. It's actually 3.7 is large. It's supposed to use large. Leading large. Oh, okay. I see. Leading large should be the way to go, but it's just too much. Yeah, way too much. So ideally, what I recommend here, when you face with issues like this, sometimes it doesn't really, for some weird reason, match what you have in the design. So you have to be very careful with the way you do it. So you can come here and just plug it in what you expect, and call this theorem. Just start playing with it, and it should make sense. Okay, so theorem, forum. Okay, that forum is pretty much decent, way better than the rest, right? So what else do we have? We have this at the center as well. Okay, so basically I have to put the right color here. So text gray. Yeah, okay, we have text gray. You can remove one. Okay, all right. So yeah, good. So we have to position this at the middle as well in smaller devices. All right, so we just have to just grab this and have it here. Okay, so what we're trying to achieve is that we're leaving no stone unturned. So we have a much more consistent flow, right? So here, owing to the fact that it has different kind of representation and in different screen sizes, you can wrap it in a div. And ideally, you want to just do flex, justify center. So that's for medium, right? Small center, so medium, justify left. Start, I think. Flex. Justify start. Okay. So let's check this out. Let's check what we have. Good. So we have it properly set up now in the mobile, and then we have the desktop view as well. Impressive. All right. So that is the end of the hero section. So we're completely good with this. Oh, we still have the images, but it's just like at the bottom. Oh, I see. I thought we removed it before. So what we'll just do basically is pretty much easy. So you want to like clean up all of this, and then the image now is not going to be hidden. Just let it be. So let it come up, right? So what we're going to do is to make sure that instead of what we have here, we're going to adjust it a little bit, right? So flex row for medium devices. So for extremely small devices, we have to make it like column, right? So you can actually do a flex column right there. And yeah, so the medium, the gap can be this, the gap can be 16. So we'll just fix it out from what we have. Okay, you can see from there we have a much more consistent flow, right? So one of the things we need to worry about is the spacing in between, okay? And yeah, small devices should basically have this. So good. So we have to like put medium in here, and yeah, we should be good to go. So the desktop screen, we have this. The smaller screens, we basically have this. So now let's worry about the gap in between. The gap in here and here is 3.75. So since we'll be reusing 3.75 a lot, so like font size dot. So the same thing, can do the same thing for gap. Right, so gap large. Yes, so we just come here and say gap large. So gap large for a very small screen. So gap large. Okay, so in there we are good. Been able to achieve what we wanted, and is working as expected. Okay, so we'll move on to the second section, and this one has to be a little bit faster because it's just basically an image, but it has some sort of divider, right? So this divider, we can actually get it from Shadcn company library. Can go there and let's say divider. Okay, so D for divide, right? Or separator. I think it's called separator. Good. So yeah, so this, we basically want to use this component. You can just install it, copy that, and yeah, we can actually have it right here. So don't worry, you can just copy it like this, and then go to your terminal and paste it. So we basically have to include that. So wait for it to basically install properly, and then we'll proceed. Okay, so fast. That was faster than I thought. Okay, so we can actually bring our components in here and reuse it. So now we are actually inside the logo group, component. So we can actually come in here, and yeah, the only thing we need here is just the image. So we could do our source, we do slash images slash. So what we need here is we need the logo group. So logo group .png, right? So it's actually a PNG. And so I've actually been making a very, very weird mistake lately. I don't know if you guys notice. Always add hot, to your images. So this logo group, right? So you go back to probably wherever you've used image before and come here at the hot. It's extremely important. So this is like overview. So what else do we have? Where else do we use an image? Not sure. I think with those two cases first. So we have img. Okay, so we basically have a separator, one at the top and the other one at the bottom. So you can grab this and grab it. So this is going to reload real quick, and we're going to actually have an idea of what's going on. Fantastic. So we already have this now. We just need to position it properly, right? It's not well positioned currently. So we want to just go through the flow we already have and assemble it the best way we can. So what we're going to do here is we can just have a class. The width has to be full as one thing that seems to be missing. So the width has to be full, and it has to be very much separated. It doesn't have to be within any other thing. So you can check your app, your page directory. So we have the logo group. So MX12 is actually very bad for this, right? So yeah, so if you want to add probably MX12, it has to be individual because of some component basically like extend, right deep into it, right? It doesn't need to be too much, but MX12 since it's very much problematic, can have that here first. Okay, so it's pretty much the same. All right, so logo group. Let's say try to do it from the outside. Can paste it right in here, and let's try the width with full. So if that doesn't really comment out for us, probably something is wrong with the parent class, I think. So you can grab that and place it right in here. Let's say, ooh, there's a very big problem, right? I wasn't really expecting this, but all right. So let's see this, and let's give this a proper class. So we're adding with full to the entire thing, but for some weird reason, it's not really acting up. So let's investigate what's actually going on. Oh, okay. This is with full of the entire image. Maybe I need to remove that first. Yeah. All right. So we have the image now. We have the the separator. Separator is what is actually affecting it. Separator by default, I think it has its own properties. Yeah. So we need a full separator. What we have currently is not really full. Yeah, so basically have a full orientation, full or whatever. So ideally, when you run across issues like this, you will just want to check the API reference for separator. Let's see, there should be a way for us to basically like extend it throughout the code. So the width or whatever, separator the root, clarity, orientation vertical. Okay, orientation. Okay, so one thing I would do quickly is to set it to full. Let's try that out. So with full orientation, okay, it just basically has, I think, the orientation, decorative, margin. Okay, so this is very weird, I must say, because it's supposed to work even without that, so it's fine. So let's do this and try it. One of them will work out. Horizontal. Let's check that out. It's already horizontal by default. So yeah, just to make sure I'm not the one making the mistake, I'm going to grab this and put it outside of the entire thing. Okay, even that, put it here. Okay, still basically has some like pathing here and there. It doesn't really work the way I want. So let's look for a way to basically handle that separator. So give full width to radius separator component. So okay. How do I add full width separator? Alright. Oh, this is not for Shadcn. Okay, alright, so that is very strange. So undo, take it back to where it was. Alright, so basically our logo group, and now we have the div right there. So the image is actually like full in terms of like full width in all of this, because how do you see it? Can do PG red. Okay, yeah. So PG red. Oh, the other whatever that we didn't add. So basically using the color we specify. Okay. Yeah, oh, okay, we didn't actually include our extensions. Oh, it's fine. Something not a problem. You can just use any color you want. Okay, so you can just do blue or red. Yeah, you can see the full is actually coming through. That's one thing that is good. And yeah, so what we want to do is probably give it this an actual flex. So if giving that as an actual flex should basically make that work. So flex, okay, so background, okay, so flex is okay for it to be flex, horizontal, okay, so flex column, okay, flex column, okay, so that's okay, whitish. All right, so let's go back. So basically have the gap between here and here. This is another gap, inconsistent gapping, but it's fine. 4.81 man. 4.81 man. All right, so basically have that there, and all right. So one thing I want to do is to check this out real quick. What do we have? Okay, we have that. Okay, we have that alongside the image. So we can actually use this to mimic our separator, right? So yeah, this is just one way to override this. Obviously, I don't know what's going wrong there. So you could easily just grab this. This seems to be the image of your separator, of our separator. And yeah, so use that as the background image. So we have to mimic, the I think is white. Oh, white with opacity of 2. Fantastic. All right, so RGBA to X. RGBA to X, please. Okay, so we can basically have this. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm back. All right, put this right in here. 5 and 0.02. So basically have that one right here. So copy that, and yeah. So let's try to do that. So that should do it for us, ideally. So let's play with the width of the the width of the stuff. So the width for separator. Okay, a separator width for the background border. So if we just do border 4 and border top 2. It's more like an outline. Do outline top 2. Right. So, my idea is to basically make sure it has the same width as it, but it's just like a way we are trying to like manipulate it and make it have a better flow. So the separator is not really doing a great job anymore. It's not really working as expected. So if you just do class name, the height can just be 1. Okay, what about 2? Okay, fantastic. So this is the height of the separator. 1. I can just like take away this, separator stuff. Basically, didn't do much good. Okay, so image and just have images full width. Okay, so let's do that. Oh, okay, if you do that for some weird reason, it's still not coming up as expected. Alright, so maybe remove the outline top. Alright, so border put the actual color we need is actually like border top. Okay, so that does it for us, and we include this as well in the other part. So it's the same thing, one at the bottom, one at the top. So here has to be for the bottom, right? So we have to make sure that it's well written. So yeah. So basically, we have to now give gaps between them, like the way we have in design. So the gap between here and here, let's put this to, dev mode. It's actually 4.12. So yeah, that's something we can do. So we can now come here and just do um, px 4.2. Yeah, 4.2, right? So that's pretty much straightforward. And then we're going to have the px, you know, not px, mx, I think. So mx, yeah. So let's see, are we missing it? mx 4.2, right? Oh, not mx. Why? So I would have loved to use padding. That's pretty much the same as well. So yeah, so we'll use py 4.2, right? So this would give us a much more proper view, right? So let's make sure this makes sense in the mobile version, right? So the mobile version is basically using a much more smaller image. So we're going to actually have to export this image so we can use it in a smaller version. So we're going to actually just click on it, and yeah, let's make sure that it is coming up well in preview, then export. So let's view it. So this is actually the one for the mobile, right? So we want to do that logo group. So you can just rename this logo group mobile. Okay, let's remove the equal to right there. So logo group mobile. So what we're going to do here is to go to the images folder, and yeah, pack this, just place, drag it into it, and basically I have this, which makes sense. So what we're going to be doing is a little bit, very simple. You just have to, focus. All right. So we basically place it inside a div, right? So which ideally is where we'll actually be including this, right? So you can put the image right here. So we have two images. Okay, we have logo group mobile, and then we have the so we have the one for the actual group. So we can actually add like actual classes to here. You can say it is actually hidden on smaller screen, and then on bigger screen just display it as a block. So we're actually going to do the exact opposite of this in the other one. So we can actually grab it and paste it right in here, and do the opposite, block, medium, hidden. So that should do it for us. So if you come here and then go to your app, this is showing the actual one. So we go to the smaller screen, we get to see the mobile version. And then let's see if the padding actually reduced in the mobile. 3.12, yeah, it did reduce, so which is a good thing. So yeah, so basically medium can actually have this, and smaller screen is going to have 3.12, nice, right? So 3.12, 3.12, right? So that's it basically. So we're gonna actually remove that 3.12 on the smaller screen, so you can see that it's working as expected. Fantastic. Right, so we basically have this two section complete and done. And yeah, let's take a look at the third section. So this third section now, we basically have to focus on a couple of things here, right? So we have proper grouping, and then it's okay. You can just export it. You don't need a frame for that. So we can export it in the group, right? And yeah, there we go. We can just what we're going to do. We want to delete what we already have. Okay, so approve you. We have this deleted, and then we basically check the one we already have within the platform, which was very problematic. You can actually just delete it, and Yeah, so what we now have is the group. Yeah, so we could just do uh, overview. Okay, so let's do that. So let's refresh this. Yeah, you can actually see that we have a much more, proper setting. We have it full width, and that's what we wanted to achieve way back. All right. So we just have to worry about how best we can, we can basically like, you know, position it properly. So let's undo all of this stuff. Okay, so good. Let's go back to dev mode. So the gap between here and here is very massive. It's like 6.25, right? So we're just going to fix that real quick. 6.25, right? So I think it's more of pan top and bottom, so pan Y. Okay, so okay, great. So we have a much more consistent flow. So we have our images and with the proper padding applied. All right, so this will take us to the next section, which is the features section. All right. Okay, so let's play around with this. This is more of a very much reusable component, right? So the way we're going to handle it is we can have a copy of one and then just reuse it across board. So this is what I mean. So you can actually come in here and create a component basically. But this is very common. So it's a card. So go to a new folder here, call it cards. So we're going to actually call it, what's this called? Feature card, right? Yes, so you can actually call this feature card. So we have functional component export. So we have the feature card. So this feature card is what we'll be using. And the things that we might be needing from it is the image, right? So we can actually write our interface right here. Interface. So we have the image or the icon. We call it icon, doesn't really matter. So we add an element. React. Dots. We add a children, we add a component, we add a fragment. Oh, we use so we add component. Right, so we have the icon. So what else do we have? We have the title and obviously the description as well. Right. So then the description is definitely a string of type string. So yeah, so this basically makes sense with in terms of what we want to achieve. So we can actually call this the iProps. So this will be specific to these particular components alone, right? So we can basically now get the icon, we get the title, and obviously we have the description. So we want to play around with all of this so that we have a proper theming, right? So we already have an idea of their static element, right? So all we have to do is to import, all of these in the images, right? So we know the one to use depending on the icon type. So icon, yeah, it doesn't even need to be a wallet. You just say icon type. It can be a type or card or dollar or wallet. So that should be able to do it for us. So we have a much more elaborate type that explains what we are to be expecting, right? So it doesn't have to be a whatever, right? So it's just like have the icon type there and then we are good to go. So here we need to bring our images in, source, and the image we have the alt. The alt is basically the icon description, feature icon. All right, so now we already have this. We just have to know what to display. So we have a route. So you can just define this easily. Const. So if icon type, so we have the image route. So I can just do if icon type is equal to card. So the route will be slash images, then slash images slash card icon, I think. Card icon .png else, right? So you can now do if the card is equal to this, then you can now do something very similar like what we've done before, else do something else. So it's pretty much straightforward. So we have the card there already. So we want to do for the dollar part, so $, and then you want to do the coin icon. So you can actually have the coin. So we can as well just call this coin. That's pretty much decent. So we have the coin icon, and lastly, if nothing is specified, we'll just use the last one, which has to do with the pause icon. So pause icon. So this is it. This will be obviously our image route and the feature, if I could spell. Oh my god. Feature. So this is the feature icon. So basically have feature icon now. Let's worry about the title. So you can place the title here. So you can place the title here, and obviously the description will follow. So you will just put the what's it called? The padding. So we have the two rem spaces top. Bottom is like 0.63, right? So this is it. This is what we do. So we have margin top, 2 rem, margin bottom is 0.63. So yeah, that should do it for us. And then we already know that the title is actually of font 600, which is very bold, and I think the text size is like pretty much normal. So text normal. Yeah, text normal. That's pretty decent. So what I want to do here is to just add a style. So this test grade. Okay, so that's good. It's very good. So we have to like reuse this card, wherever we want, right? So okay, so basically we'll go back here. So let's look for what we'll be needing, right? So the feature section. So let me clear out the rest. So first off, we need a way to be able to have access to our content, right? So we could just static content, doesn't really change much. So we could just call these features, make it an array of objects. So basically have the icon type. Icon type here is world, and the title. So the title is like customizable card, if you can see it. Customizable card. And yeah, we have the description. Oh no, description. So you can just copy what we have there and paste it right there, right? So you can grab this, have it here. Well, this one is actually the coin, so no fee payment. You can have this grabbed and place it right here. So we can just copy the entire thing from here as well and paste it right here. And lastly, we have the one for the purse. So we can actually put the purse here, and the title is all in one place, I think. All in one place. And finally, we just grab description as well. Description, you can paste this in here. So we have a much more proper flow of what to expect. So yeah, that's basically it. And what we'll have to do is to loop over these features, right? So basically I have this features that map feature, right? So they're pretty much like decent. So what we want to run is a feature card. Yeah, so feature card basically has a couple of its own you know props. So basically what we need is the icon type. So that will actually be feature dot icon type. So meanwhile, you already know that when you override this, you have the appropriate typing for it. So you don't have to worry much about putting types here. So the types are already inferred. So this is the icon type. Icon can be wallet, coin, or purse. So think coin. And coin is yeah, if it's coin is coin. And then the wallet. Wallet is the purse one. Okay. Alright, so this is okay. So this is wallet. So that should do it for the icon type. So we have the wallet, we have the coin, and the card. So this has to do with the card, sorry. Okay, so that's pretty much decent as expected. Okay, so so into the fact that we already have this, we just create this as a separate type of its own. Yeah, you can actually have this as a type. Libraries, come here, just in your source, create a new folder, call it types. Let's call this index.css. Type feature feature card type is equal to this. So it's like what we're doing is we already know that is a type. You don't need to specify an interface. So you just need to export this, right? We're exporting a type as the modules requires an export. So not sure what they mean by that. Can't we do that? So I think you can just do export straight up. Right, so we can basically reuse that. So we can actually use that here. Right, which is a good thing, and at the same time we'll just have to assign this. Okay, still complaining. Yeah, it's no longer complaining, so we need to put in the title feature dot title. Oh my goodness, feature dot I didn't just spell tilt. That's weird. All right, so title, and then lastly we have the description as well, and description feature dot description. Okay, so basically I have like an idea of all the cards now. So let's check what we have so far. Impressive. So everything's coming right through. We need to make some minor adjustment. That has to do with the actual title. The text has to be white, right? So yeah, so basically when we have this, it's just a matter of time for us to basically like put things together and everything will be fine. So the description basically has to be text centered. Yeah, text centered. So once we have that, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. All right. So what we're going to do, I think it's just okay that I just leave everything as flags. Flags justify center, right? So that should give us like a much more, proper flow. So we have the icon, and flex color. Yeah, vertically align it. Okay, justify center, item center. So this is what we'll need. Okay, very good there. That's what we expect. All right, so we have a very good view of the actual idea. So you just want to go back to the feature section and style this way much more. So yeah, it's fine. I'm going to create a div around it. So put in the feature card. Put in the feature card, and don't worry. Whatever you're doing this, always include the key. So feature dot. I think the icon type is basically unique, so you can use that. So we have the feature the icon type as our key, and so class, you know, you can just call this flex. Let's flex it out, right? So class name. So this is going to be 3, so we don't need much things here. So you can come in here and then grab this and put it right here. So we have that as the actual thing. Okay, so we have to specify the gap to be around at least 4. So there'll be some spaces between it, or it's okay. So basically I have that, and okay, so the gap is not really coming up. Wake up large 2.75. Okay, so one of the things we want to worry about is the description. So this description has to be like test center at the time, so also have that proper flow. Okay, so if you noticed, we've gone to basically implement this section. So let's see how it is on the mobile part of it, and check our own as well. Very good. So we basically have this, and it's pretty much the same, right? And yeah. So we'll go to the feature section, and you can come here and do, if it's actually medium, you could do flex row. But ideally, you can just like without that, in terms of smaller screen, you can just do flex color. That should fix it for us. So if you go to the big guys, it's going to be like this, but on small screens, it's going to be way like this, right? So yeah, let's fix the title as well. The title in the feature card can also be the sender. So you just have to pick that and put it right here. So that should be able to position it properly for us as well. Okay, good work. So the other section we might be looking into, has to do with the what do you call this? Testimonial section. So we're almost done. We're almost there. So the testimonial section is basically, it's one way. We just have to, put in the test, and then we should be good. All right. So I'm going to clean this out so we have a much more, consistent flow. Close that up, and there we go. All right. So we have the testimonial section, and I'm going to do a couple of things. So assume we basically have the first section, which is right here. So you can pull it out as a section, and then we have 2 divs. Yeah, top and bottom. Right. So the top will actually house the actual text. So we have the actual text here. That's okay. So the bottom is going to actually house the avatar. So here we need an avatar component, and the only way we're going to actually get that is by going through Shadcn and avatar component, and then just import it. So we basically have this. You can see great avatar component. So we have to install it. So copy the npm package of it, and yeah, you can actually just paste it in here, I think. So we'll wait for it to basically install, and we'll continue in a bit. All right, so we can actually quickly continue. We already have our avatar installed. All we have to do at this stage is to be able to use it. So we grab the code, and yeah, this makes sense. So we could just grab this, and yeah, we include it within the code. So we import it right here, and let's grab the actual usage, which is here. Here, right? So we could grab that. So what we already have, we don't need to specify a URL part. Yeah, so we don't need to specify an actual URL. So we just want the auth has to be, something that describes the actual image. Um, testimonial avatar, testimonial user avatar. So that works. So the source is basically in the public images and then the boy. Yeah. All right. So yeah, basically have our avatar. So now we're going to just check through to make sure everything's coming up correctly. Exactly, it's coming out as expected. So all right, so let's tie this. What we'll do here is to give it page secondary, primary, right? And I think the padding from your devices, padding panels can just be 8. All right, so I basically have that. And yeah, it has to be bold as well. All right, so you can come in here and just do font 600. So that definitely is the bold and the bold font for it. And then once we're done with it, we have an idea of what to basically expect, right? So let's grab the size. So the size here is 1.5 rand. Okay, so we can just do text 1.5 rand. Okay, that seems to be a lot. Okay, so let's grab our avatar and make it work. So this is the avatar part. What else do we have? We already have a div. So this div part is going to tell us the name and the star. So the name is actually Johnny Owens, and then we basically have some stars here, right? So you can actually just use you can extract the export one of them or just export them as group, right? So you know what to display. So what I would normally do, just get one and then replicate it, right? So download that, and yeah, so basically I have the star icon. So you can just rename this. So we have the star if I could spare star icon SVG. Okay, so then now we can actually place it within the images directory. So we can as well just put it in here, which is okay, right? So we can now reuse this particular star icon wherever we want. So we can come here and create a div right within it, and next one should be an image, an actual image. Okay, so basically I have to do, I don't know, no points for using in that images slash star icon.svg star icon. Okay, so we can actually just like loop through some sort of an array. I could just like normally just do stars like this. Total stars. An array of whatever. You can just do 1, 2, 3, 4. How many stars do we have? We basically have, let's close this out. 1, 2, 3, we have 5 stars. So you could just have 5 right there. So total stars dot map star So basically I have to like return these images for a star, right? So that just works. So not that we're using it by any means, but you just like add a key to it, key with a star. So that makes sense, right? So we come to our actual application and let's view the stats. But we know that it's actually 5-star. So one other thing we need to worry about is the fact that it's actually split flags and gap 4. Great, impressive. So the gap between here and here is not really like 0.31 rem or something, but it's very like close to what we already have. We make that one 5, and then we should have a much more elaborate start. So one other thing here that might be of concern is the actual name. So the name has more of a grayish color, and once you check this out, we want to give it the Shadcn color. Right, so we have the class name there, and just the test gray right there, correct? So this should actually give us the grayish color that we needed. Well, but for some weird reason, it seems to be a different color of its own, so we can just grab it here. Dark, and that's more dark than I expected. Right, so all right, so what we basically have there is this. So we'll grab this and just reduce the opacity. It's completely fine. So text this opacity is basically what, and then 0.4. Okay, this is always like coming up. Move it. Okay, so yeah, basically I have that proper styling there, and yeah. What do we have next? So our avatar is not coming in as needed. Obviously, don't know why that is. Well, let's refresh it to make sure that everything is expected. Supposed to have the rounded full by default. I didn't need to specify that. Okay, so yeah, basically I need to specify our width and height. So the width and height here is like 5 rem width. So the height is actually, we can do 5 rem, don't worry, we can modify later on. So we could do 5 rem as well. So then we basically have our width, and at the same time we have our height, right? And let's see. The rounded full should come into the picture. For some reason we're not saying rounded full, which is a source of worry, right? So I think I'll just create it. Some of the tailwind styles has been overridden for some weird reason. That's something I'll look at later on. And yeah, rounded full is like this, I think. So full 100%. All right, it's okay. It's okay. We're able to like achieve that quickly. And yeah, one other thing that we need to basically figure out is the way we're going to position it. So we could basically have that as a flex, and gap can be 4, right? So item center, that's the right within the right spot, and for us to be able to give you the right, gap is actually 1.25. So 1.25 is already configured here as well, not really configured. 1.25, not really reused that much, but it's fine. I can just put it here. Alright, so we gap 1.25 rem. Right, so once we have the gap, we have a proper flow. So the gap between here and here is not that much, so we could just like extend it a bit, and yeah, that's what we basically have here. C2. Okay, not really MT, I think PB2, I think. Okay, let's do one. It's too much. Okay, good. Good. We can see Johnny Owens, and then we see everything we need. So the gap between the text and the top is actually 5.19, right? So we could actually do py 5.19, right? Okay, good, wonderful. So now let's worry about the radius. The radius is always the number one, 1.125. So that's rounded. For the radius, 1.125. So rounded large. So rounded large. Yeah, that should give us that. And yeah, so the distance between here and here is like 10.12. That's massive. So we could actually use a much more proper approach. We could just use 5 rem. 10 rem is way too much. Might not be cool. Okay, so we can use 5 rem. And the distance between here and here is like 3.13 rem. Right? So we can grab this and then do margin to 3.13. Alright, so basically I have that. So this concludes basically. So first of all, before we agree, we have to make sure that it's working well in our in the mobile version. So let's check that out. So mobile, we have all of this. So mobile, we just want to give it like small space in between, right? So we just have like few spaces here. So so one thing we change is the fact that py does not need to be here. It's okay for it to apply to our screen sizes, but then px has to be created. So px8, I think I should do it for us. Okay, so ps8, you can say that is coming in nice and steady. Good, great. So now let's give it a proper a proper distance, right? So let's give it a proper padding from here to here. Let's use like times 3 and just do like 4 rem mine top. This is 4 rem, same thing as 8. Same thing as 16. Okay, interesting. Alright, so basically I have that, and here we go. So we have a customizable card, we have these as well. So mobile, make sure that every component we have looks good no matter the screen size. So that's the goal, and that's one of the first things we tend to achieve, and we've been doing it quite steadily. Alright, so we're done with this section, and then we'll move on to the penultimate section, right? So there's questions, let's talk. So this is very similar, I think, with the actual dashboard. So I can actually reuse similar component there, probably create this into a reusable component and just exchange the actual text is being reused, so we can actually use this right there. So that's what we're going to do. We want to actually update the existing component and make it reusable. So in order not to waste much time, we can actually come in here. Where do we have it? I'll close everything up. Let's close all of this. Source, app, then page. Let's talk section. So let's talk error section basically. So this is what we want to form into a card of its own. So copy this and let's form it to a card. Okay, so what we're going to call this is where the batch page. So you can actually call these aligned card. You can call this aligned card. Aligned card, does that make sense? Alright, it's completely fine. So we can actually call this anything, right? But something that actually depicts, what it's doing, right? So we can actually call these main layout card. Yeah, so that's fine. So main layout card will basically we have functional component export, and it will have everything that I just copied from the error section. Basically, copy this and paste it here. So the only thing that might actually be changing is what we're using within it, right? What we're passing in as the title, what we're passing in as the, description and so on. So we need to create a prop. So we can actually call this iProps. So we say interface iProps, right? So this we know that this is a very unique interface, and the things we're collecting is actually the title. We'll make sure the title is actually an actual React component, React.component, right? So we have description. Description can be string. And then finally, we have the button text, I think. Yeah, so we have the button text. Is it get started too? So let's be sure. Design. Oh, it's get started. There's no point. The same text. And what we want to worry about now is the image. Yeah, right hand image. Right side image. So right side image basically RIHT, right side image. Alright, so right side image URL. So yeah, that's basically it. This is what we should be expecting. So you put iProps there, we have the title, then we have our description right here, and the right side image URL. So we're going to just make sure that everything is working as expected, and main layout card. Let me just export it within here. These are scapegoats for now, I think. Is there any margin top here or whatever? Margin top 5 rep. Yeah, it's completely fine. Alright, so we can actually quickly import this. And we need to put in everything we need. The title. So here we can actually just create a professional component. We don't need to export it, please. It's just a very small function. And then once we call it the question. Main question. Very simple. You can easily just call it question or heading or header. That's completely fine. So yeah, so basically what the React function is returning is basically this. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to return this for us. It's more of a p tag or something, but it's completely fine. So you can remove this as well. Passing the header right there. And yeah, the title. So the title in our own case is actually this particular header component. So that's completely fine. Okay, title is not assigned to type intrinsic, does not exist. Oh, it's more of this. Okay. So this is actually an actual, yeah, so we're actually, wanting a React component by extension, right? So that's supposed to work. So let's see what this gives us. So this gives us this. So yeah, that's what is the oh my god, this is the main card. Sorry about that. Main AutoCAD layout is what we need. And then this is what we'll be needing in the other part. So you can copy this. You basically have React.js element. You can copy this. And let's go to main card layout. So the title instead of this can be this. So that should be able to resolve your issue. So header element does not exist on type element. So it's like a function that calls that particular component. Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, I think something like that will work. Good, that did work. So alright, so basically what I did was to basically make sure that we're having the same typing, right? So this is more of a function component, right? So we just want to return this in an actual React text and other stuff. So yeah, we'll go to the description. So description here, we can actually grab the, what we already have here. Just grab everything. Yeah, we'll paste it right there. Yeah, and then finally we have to grab the image URL, grab it here. So it's good for this to be a div, a lot of moving parts. So we have the title. Oh, React Node. I think this is something I was really interested in. But it's fine. Come back and fix that. So we have the description, you paste it right here, and then the image URL. So this one is our image URL. You can come here and just create right side image URL. This is it. Okay, so now let's fix the issue if it's not working as expected. Right, so you can come in here and you can paste it right in there. Good. So the title is still very do you mean to call this expression? Why would you want to call an actual component? Today that's crazy. But no worries, we'll actually worry about it later on. But ideally it's supposed to be just string of components. Right. Alright, so let's see how it is. It's coming out. Okay, it's coming out well. Okay, good, great. Okay, so what we're going to do is to mimic the same component. We don't need to worry about the stock section. Is to just reuse that same main layout component, and then we should be good. So our own header can just be does not need to be a component, but it's fine. You can just grab this and put it right here. So the header in this section is questions. Okay, so it's very much okay. So let's talk. So you don't want to have this in your React application. This is an apostrophe, so you basically use the decoding. So and apostrophe, so that should do it for us. So we have the header, so we have the description. Yeah, we have the description here. It's copying the wrong thing. Okay, so let's try to copy it one at a time. So it's okay for this to be okay, we just have delete something like that. And yeah, see the image is here. The image here is the wallet image. Don't know if you remember, we imported it earlier. I think it's the wallet.gif right here. So this is what we'll be needing here. Okay, so let's take a look at the list document section. Okay, you can actually see that everything is coming in. So we're using the same component we're using in the landing page. We're using the same thing here. That means responsiveness and everything is already taken care of for us. So we don't need to repeat ourselves unnecessarily. Right, so go here, everything still looks nice. Okay, good job. All right, and finally, we are almost coming to a close now. And I'm really excited about this next phase, right? So what do we need here? We just need a couple of stuffs. And let's take a look at the mobile version so we can address it properly. So wallets, here. Then we have to reverse it in the mobile, so that's completely fine. Okay, so scroll down and yeah, we're doing quite well, doing good. So the photo section. So yeah, we basically have to worry about this last part, of our implementation, right? So it's quite decent, and yeah, so let's worry about it. So we already know we can just remove everything we don't need and go to photo section, and yeah. So I think this wallet is almost the same design as the wallet we have on top. So we can just reuse that. So go to our navbar component. I think we have it somewhere here. Was it not in sections? So in page, we have the navbar here. And yeah, so let's just have something something like this. And not really like it's moved. It's moved. Okay, so that's completely fine. So we'll just create two divs. So this is actually a section. Right, so create two divs. Right, so we basically want to put our wallet in there. Right, so we have the wallet and then we have something very similar. And yeah, so that's something that we want to worry about. So this wallet. Another thing has to be probably the copyright stuffs, right? So yeah, so let's have that. So the copyright stuff is basically, so we could grab this easily. So copy wallets 2022. So we could just make this bunch of PHP tags. So this has to be a div, and we can just wrap wrap all of this into it. For your span, doesn't really matter. Okay, so we have the privacy policy. You can just grab it. Okay, what else do we have? We have the cookies policy. Then we have the terms of use. Okay, so basically have all of this, which is not bad. And yeah, so what I want to worry about here is the fact that we can just like maybe flex and then put a reasonable gap in between, right? So what gap are we having? 1.88. So 1.88 rhyme, so which is not bad, right? So it's like font is bold and other stuff, so we can actually just reuse majority of what we have here, for it. So yeah, it's coming out well. So the size has to be 1.12. Doesn't have to be that much. So 1.125. All right, so that's pretty much okay. And we already have wallet. We have this. Now let's do the right side. So the right side basically contains the first of all, this paragraph. This paragraph has to do with these updates right to your inbox. So basically have that. Then we want to create a div that we use. So we need the input. So we basically need a Shadcn input. And yeah, this is the last input we'll be downloading from these guys. And yeah, that should be pretty decent for us as well. Yeah, so we can just grab this real quick, npm, and then go to our terminal and paste it right there. So this should actually start downloading in a bit. So while we wait for it to, okay, it's done. All right, so we could go to Code. Let's import the input. Put it right there, and yeah. So let's use it. So it can actually be email stuff and other stuff. So place it in there. Do we have any place of text? Yeah, we do. We actually have email address here. So we have email address, and then we need our button. This is more of a secondary button, but it's very similar with Get Started. So we can grab that from maybe the wallet overview. Wallet overview. What is this? Oh, okay. Wallet overview section. Oh, it's just an image, right? Testimonial, feature section. Okay. I think what I was actually looking for is what we used in the feature card. Is it feature? No, main layout component. So in here, I remember we used a particular stuff. Yeah, this is the image that button we obviously used. So you could just like grab the actual button and forget about the rest. So you could just close order. So we can pin this. So yeah, we have the input, and then we should be able to have our own button. So here is like send. Change the text to send. And yeah, we are almost there. Let's see what we have now. So this has to be primary. Yeah, this is changed to primary for us. Right, so what we have there is actually send now. Yeah, so we have to basically modify this class is a bit. Class name pg primary. Let's try that out. To modify the input. So yeah, so the background here is not the same with the actual background. So it's so it's basically white. What's this? Making it gray. Okay, so background pg gray. Okay, so that is the background. Okay, so you can actually give it some height, I think. So let's make sure that's actually what I was expecting. Text. So this is dark. Pretty sure it's not background dark. Oh, so background dark is actually the other part. So it's actually more grayish than dark. Okay, so that's fine. That's pretty decent. So we may actually modify it, as we go. Let's check the actual size of this input. So everything is 3.125 RAM. So we can actually modify that. So right, 3.125 RAM. Okay, you can see we basically have that same height, which is okay, right? So pretty decent. So rounded is 1 point. So I think rounded normal or large depends. Rounded normal. Let's try that out. 0.9, but this is actually like okay, I'm not seeing it, so let me select it properly. 0.9. Okay, so normal is fine. So we could just remove the border. We don't need any border. Border none. That's the last thing we need there. Okay, so that's decent. So let's get the actual background here, right? This is the actual background. Oh, this is it. Okay, interesting. I just knew something was wrong with this grayish color. It wasn't coming out as expected. Okay, so email, and then we have the send, right? So good. So what we're going to do is to make sure we align this with the send and give it a gap of 1.56. So we already have this, just have to align them. Gap. Okay, gap 1.56. Okay, that's pretty decent. And then here, this is the actual text file. So yeah, it's actually supposed to be white and text number and other stuff. So you can easily grab all of this and remove the part that has to do with the part that has to do with maybe large font sizes. So this is text number, text font. Can remove this as well. All right, so that's pretty much it. And okay, so what do we need? We need a spacing. So the spacing here is 0.94. So my bottom 0.94 RAM. Okay, so that is okay. And yeah, now we have basically all of them. We have to put them all together, right? So let's do that. We have the div, we have the other div. So we have to class let's justify twin gap it. So I should be able to put them all together. And yeah, right. So we have to do, I can just like create a border here. Let's say with full BG BG gray, BG gray height 1. Okay, so we just gonna create our own border. So the height of this basically, is reminiscent in the fact that it's very light. So we have to reduce, the strength of what we have now. 0.1 rem. Okay, so that's pretty much decent. I could just do margin 8 to separate top from bottom properly. Yeah, so its way to the top is like 6 rem. So 6 rem. So to the bottom, not sure. Yeah, the same thing I think. So let's check it out. 3 rem. So we can actually do that. Empty 6 rem. 6 rem, and so empty is like margin top, not margin right, and margin bottom is actually around 0 rem. Doesn't have to be exact, or you should just eyeball properly basically. Okay, so we basically have this, and yeah, so our footer basically should have some spacing, 3.13 rem after it, right? So you could just say margin bottom 3.13 rem. Okay, so that was the point of using it. So we have to do padding bottom 3.13 rem. Okay, nice one, nice. So one of the things I would need to worry about is the mobile responsiveness for the footer, right? So the question is, how do we gauge it to make sure that it looks good on the mobile? So go to the mobile screen, and yeah, so we undo the first one. So the first one is roughly, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, so we have the wallet, and then we have the other part, right? So wallet, terms of usage. Okay, so this is an issue, but not really an issue. But the way I handle it is I can just, come here. Let me put this one side so we have a proper view of it. It's a small screen. Yeah, so basically contribute, and have this on the right hand side. This gives us a better flow. Okay, so we have a wallet. So update URL box. So we already know how this look, but what I want to do is make sure this comes up well in small screens. So small screen, we want to make sure that we have other aspects of it. So what we're going to do in this case is to make it different, make it very different. So we'll just basically have to swap it and swap this for this, right? And then this can actually, in a small screen, is actually way at the bottom. So this is what we're going to do. Okay, so we want to just like give it a class hidden. So hidden MD block of flex is fine. Okay, so yeah, so let's try that out. Okay, so yeah, so that's basically it. And flex column can be flexible, so it's going to be flex column. Okay, so it's going to be like flex. Oh, not here. Not here per se. I mean the entire thing that wraps it. Okay, so yeah, so this is actually the actual wrapper. We want to make sure that we display it as a flex, right? So if it's on a very small device, we'll just want to make sure that it's column, right? It's columnarized. Justify between these and there is an update. So that's true. That's obviously very true. So what we want to display in this section, in the mobile part, has to do with this. So has to do with this part, right? So this is already hidden. I just want to put in the opposite flow and put it in here, and just display flex medium hidden. So I can actually display flex or block. So we'll make it hidden in small screen. Okay, so update your whatever. So meanwhile, we already know what we are expecting. That we need to make make it a column base. It doesn't have to be separated. So what we're going to do here, we want to play very smart. So this is column, medium, flex, row, right? So update. So whatever this is or whatever this is. So here, yeah, we'll do flex column, so medium, flex row. So this way, we basically have to pull this way, right? Yeah. So we already have something like this. Update your whatever. So what we're going to do is to do the opposite of this in this particular case. So we have the hidden and then the flex. Okay, so update right to your inbox. So we already know what we have now. We have our input, and then we have the send button. So send button has to be full. So what we're going to do is to make sure we make it in a column form. So flex row, medium, and flex row, and then medium. These are flex column, medium, flex row. Okay, so this is it, and now let's take a look. Okay, very good. So the width, depending on what, we're going to actually extend this button to the entire width of the mobile screen. So what do we do from there? We can actually limit this, and what do we do? So basically we have a send, and we already have a width. I don't know if you notice for this button, and we have a width that basically has a full width attribute. So what we're going to do real quick here is that we're going to be very careful, right? So we don't really know the width programmatically. But what I would suggest we do in this case is to have a duplicate of this particular button, so the one to display and when to display it. So we can actually have a duplicate of this button. Okay, you can grab this and put it here. So we have two different buttons. So what we're going to do is so we want to play with the sizes, right, with the actual width. So this width is going to be full width, right, if I'm not mistaken. So full width. So one way we're going to actually do this is that if it is a mobile, so we're going to do md. So mobile is going to be block, else you want to just display it hidden. So mobile is going to mobile is going to be block and md hidden. So that should do that for us. Remove one of the buttons, I think. Right, so we can actually show we're doing it right. Okay, so our classes is not really hidden, then block. It's not really hidden. Yeah, you're supposed to hide. Okay, hidden, that's okay. Okay, is the way we're using it. So a small device display block of this. Good. Hidden on medium, which is okay. So we can do the same thing here as well. we just reverse it. So hidden block. So that should do it for us. So now we have an idea that this should be a full width, full. Okay, so we don't need to specify some weird width, right? So we can actually put it like that, and let's move that. Okay, so you can actually see full width allows it to span through the entire screen. So let's see, we are okay. And then the other part we have to worry about is the terms of use, right? The term of use now is basically it has to be placed separately, right at the bottom. So the structure has changed, terms of use, cookies, and then we basically have the last one at the bottom. So we can just have all of this, grab that. You can come to the bottom. So by the bottom, I mean after the actual send button. Yeah, after this, so once you paste that in here, and let's drag it, copy. So we can come in here and remove this and put it obviously straight at the bottom. So what to do? Flex, medium, hidden. So one of the things we want to do here, probably add proper gaps to it. Flex. Medium is actually hidden in the medium screen, but then why are we having bullet 2022 again? Okay, so let's see, what do we have in the? Okay, we have wallet 2022. We have the wallet. Oh, okay, I see. It's supposed to be column, right? So let's fix that. Okay, so basically I have all of this. We have this, and yeah. So wallet, and this div is supposed to be flex column, right? So medium flex row. But I think it's actually like flex column in real life. Yeah, it's actually flex column, so it's completely fine. So we can actually add some little gaps in between, right? So we need to add gap 8, needs to be very visible. So we got 8. Not really. Okay. So that's the wallet, and obviously what we have in there is the wallet and all those stuff, right? So yeah. So what we can do in medium is flex and margin top. So 8 is gap really does not help us. Good. So we can actually remove the gap here and make sure that margin top 8 is actually working as expected. So let's come in here, let's go in there, and yeah. So we have to maybe increase the size of the input a bit, so it looks too smaller. So you can click on here, and let's see, the width here is like 18.5125 rem, right? So we're going to grab that, and yeah, go to footer. We're in the footer, of course. Input, class name. Okay, I can just do max width and place that in there. So this will allow you to maybe stretch. Yeah, you need to like stretch for some reason. So maybe okay, so okay, so we still need to like stretch it for some reasons, right? So let me see, take that off, put a non input full. Right, so set, maybe we'll remove just the flex grow. Yeah, so flex grow. Okay, so flex grow, this will grow with the size of the screen, I think. Okay, so don't worry about this in a moment. So we already have an idea of what and how it should work. So we close this up. Let's check the design here. Okay, we have all of this, but then we want to have all of those quite vertically. So if we do flex row, flex column, sorry about that. Yeah, so we have to do margin top, right? So over this and 2.5 to the top. All right, so we'll just put it right here, margin top 0.5, right? So let's go in there and good, boom, we already have it. So this is a much more consistent flow. So one other thing we need to fix is the text. It has to be white. So we can come in here and just like the text white. So that should fix it for us. Okay, so we have much more consistent flow now. And let's make sure nothing is missing. Okay, so wallet updates your inbox. Okay, very good. Okay, so basically I've officially come to the end of this lesson, and this is quite a long one, but it just gives us an idea of how you can actually build a custom layout without not so much hassle, right? So you have an overview of how all of this works, and then what you want to do is you just go through individual components and make sure everything is working as expected, right? So this is it from me, and yeah, have a nice one.